What is holding you back from becoming the person you were created to be? What is it? A lot of times we express just how much we want something. It's like, like, what's taking so long? I want this thing. I've been wanting this thing for years. But at the end of the day, you cannot step into something until you grow into the person who is ready to step into it. And so a lot of times what people don't realize is you have to become the person first, right? If you want to be married, you've got to become that person, right? If you want a 7-figure business, you want to be a speaker, you want to be a writer, like you have to become that person. And you've got to be willing to admit when you're self-sabotaging. You've got to be willing to admit when you're not doing the things that you are supposed to be doing. You've got to be willing to admit when you're not disciplined enough, when you're not focused enough, when you're being distracted. You got to know that. You got to own it. And then you got to take the steps required to fix the issues, right? What are the gaps? What's causing me to consistently miss the target? What's causing me to want to give up? What's causing me to procrastinate? What's causing me to doubt myself? Like, you have to figure out what it is. Is this something from childhood? Right? Is this based on an experience? Is this based on trauma? And when you are honest with yourself, that is the only time you can really fix it. Because a lot of times we're pretending that we have it all together. And listen, you can fool everyone else, but you can't fool yourself. You can lie to everyone else, but you can't lie to yourself. And so if you really want to level up your life, you've got to start with self-honesty. And so what is this self-sabotage thing that I'm talking about? This is when you knowingly or unknowingly take actions that make it difficult for you to achieve the goals that you set for yourself. So sometimes this might not even be intentional, right? It might not, like, you might be like, well, every time I start, I get on the right track and then I fall down. Or I'm on this thing with, I'm going to lose 10 pounds and I lose 5 and then I go back to my old habits. Like, whatever that is for you, it's time for you to call it out. Like, that's what I say to myself all the time. Like, okay, I'm going to call myself out. Like, I will say to myself, Jessica, you got to do better. I call myself out. I have a coach. I have a darn good coach at that. But I don't need my coach to call me out, which my coach will, right? But I call myself out because I want this for me. Like, I want to consistently grow. I want to consistently become a better person. I want to consistently learn how to develop into the person that I know I was created to be. And this is not I'm going to arrive at that destination, because every time I hit a goal, a milestone, every time I step into a new version of myself, I understand that I still have much to learn. I understand that I still need to continue to grow. I need to still call myself out. I need to still hold myself accountable. I need to still have a coach. And so before you can master anything, you got to master yourself. You got to call out the unproductive habits that you have, the counterproductive habits that you have. When you say one thing out of your mouth, but you do something totally different. You got to call yourself out if you're hanging around people who are not doing anything with their lives. You're hanging out with people who don't have any goals, or you're hanging out with people who are jealous of you, or you're hanging out with people who don't want to see you grow, and they keep pulling you down and they keep pulling you into gossip, and you're distracted. You're not focused. You're not as creative as you need to be. You're not as creative as you could be because you're too busy getting entangled in their mess, right? So that's a form of self-sabotage. You are allowing people who don't have your best interest at heart to stop you. When every time you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, that's self-sabotaging. Even perfectionism is self-sabotage, Because all for perfectionism is fear. It's, I don't want to fail. I don't want to make a mistake, so I'm not going to do it. And every time you put off what you know you're supposed to be doing, all you're doing is postponing your breakthrough. All you're doing is postponing your next win. And so I want to encourage you to recognize when your life is governed for your desire for comfort. Recognize when you are saying one thing, but you're doing something totally different. Recognize when you're not being the person you know you were created to be. Like, even if somebody ticks you off and you want to go off on them, and typically you would, but you're no longer that person. So if you're no longer that person, then you got to be better at handling offense. You got to be better at managing you. Because listen, this next level of you, you're gonna be a leader. People are gonna be counting on you, and you can't be easily offended. You can't be easily broken. It can't be easy for you to just snap and go off on people. Even if this was who you have been for years and years, it's time to change it. The goals that you have, the legacy that you want to build, it's going to require that you set a new intention for your life. It's going to require that you set new standards for yourself. It's going to require that you separate yourself from certain people. It's going to require that you call yourself out. It's going to require that you might have to fall down and get back up again. It might require that you've got to remove yourself from certain environments. You can't be getting involved in gossip and negativity. Like, you got to have a clear mind. You got to be ready to step into what you've been asking for. And sometimes it's just a matter of you doing what you are supposed to be doing. It's a matter of you not self-sabotaging. It's a matter of you not saying, well, I can't do this because this person is not helping me, or because this person is talking about me, or this person doesn't like me. Like, none of that is your problem. It's your life. It's your future. It's your vision. It is on you. Stop waiting for somebody else to come in and do what you're supposed to be doing. And I can remember for such a long time being frustrated. Well, this person is in this position. All they got to do is make a call. Well, that might be all they need to do. But if they don't want to do it, I can't force them to do it. And I can't allow them not doing what I want them to do to stop me. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what I can do. I'm going to do what I can do. Are you doing everything that you can do to make this thing happen for you? So I want you to get that goal in your mind. I want you to write it down on an index card. And I want you to read it 2-3 times a day. Just keep looking at it, because this is who you need to become. If it's 6 figures, if it's 7 figures, if it's being a mom, a dad, if it's owning a business, if it's writing a book, if it's going back to school, whatever that vision that you have for your life is, write it down and don't let up. Do not let up until you get what it is you came to get. Until next time, take care.